spirit animals. What do you guys think? So I was thinking about one aspect of, a lot of people think, spirit animals, I suppose a bit like shamanic culture. Spirit animals are a bit like our spirit guides, just an animal form, and they offer different types of help. And I was thinking about it, and I know a lot of people who have said they've counted their animal spirit guides and what animals they are, because again, the animal that chooses you, it does say a lot about the personality of the person. But I was thinking about something slightly different. So not very often do you physically see, or like you see physical manifestations of spirit animals. I mean, human spirit are known to poke you, they're known to play tricks on you, they're known to play with electric, to say stuff, but animals, they don't really do much, So I'm thinking back, so this is back when I first started being, I was, 16 or 17, right? And I just started my first chef's job. I was engaged to a gypsy boy, and he was a chef as well. So he allowed me to have that employment, because it was the similar to what, and I worked close to him and stuff like that. And so I was 17, and I remember taking out the rubbish, and I remember looking up and just feeling this fiery energy. And I remember looking up, and I remember seeing this gigantic bird, and I just knew in my head it was a phoenix. I just knew it. And it was just up there, and it was just flying around. I mean, given the fact that I just finished a split shift, I was working as a chef, I wasn't even spiritually switched on. But sometimes you don't have to be. I mean, if you've got the gifts, it's going to manifest no matter what, whether you tuned in or not. Anyway, so I remember looking up and seeing this massive phoenix just ducking and diving around. And I honestly did not pay that much attention to it, as bad as that sounds. I think because I was tired and I had to go home and I had to go and cook for my other half, and I was just like, meh, okay, take that on board, but what can I do about it? And yes, I know phoenixes are mythical creatures, but then they are very protective. They're a very protective bird, and I ain't talking Harry Potter style. That it is just their nature, and it's all about transformation and rebirth and strength and stuff like that. Now, I didn't see one again for a very, very long time, up until about a month ago. Now, I was due to go out, but I had a really, really bad feeling. And I just feel like something was going to go wrong. And I was like, nah. This person basically, he lived close to me. And he was a little bit obsessed, put it that way. It's something I'd never been with. I'm not like that. Not in that way. But I just had this real bad feeling. And literally, I had 7 people message me that night saying, are you okay? I've got this really, really weird feeling about you. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I didn't go and meet up so-and-so. I stayed home. And so that night, it just felt like I was being watched. That's the only way I can put it. It just felt like I was being watched. I was being stared at. But not from inside the house. The minute I came inside the house, I felt fine. But when I was outside, where I was putting the rubbish out or checking on my car or whatever it was, I just had this feeling like I was just being watched. And it weren't a good feeling. So I did some protection, on the house. And these 2 phoenixes appeared. Now, these weren't physical manifestations in the way that I'd seen years and years ago. These were pure spiritual ones. And one was green out the back and the one out the front was red. I remember that the flames were different colours. There's kind of like different levels of protection, because obviously it would be a lot harder to break in the house from the back than it would be at the front. So you had the more powerful one, as bad as that sounds, out the front, and that was the male, whereas the female, the green one, was out the back. And I know that sounds a bit crazy, but if you're a spiritual person, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So it's just different ways of the different spirit animals can help and protect you and stuff like that. I mean, my main spirit animal is a wolf, and she doesn't come in as much these days. But she's more of a close at heart one, whereas these phoenixes, they felt higher up. Like in angels, you've got angels and you've got archangels. This is what that felt like. My wolf would be like on the realms of an angel, but these phoenixes were on the realms of an archangel, an arc animal, however you want to put it. So that's my experiences with phoenixes anyway. They don't come across not very often. But when they do, it's certainly a sight to behold, and it's certainly something to take note of. Because it's certainly a spirit animal that you shouldn't, because it's such a mythical creature. It's not like a dog, it's not like a cat, it's not like a moose. it is a more enchanting being than that. So you have to kind of, when one does pop up, you have to really thank it, and you have to really show respect for it, because it's coming to protect you, it's coming to help you. You know, and I think a lot of it, I think it's because of the ward I did on the house that night. I think it felt that magic shift, and it started to come in. Where it could have been part of the spell, for all I know. Sometimes spells don't always work out the way that we think they will. Sometimes the universe has its own plan when it comes to stuff like that. So that's my experience with phoenixes. They don't come across very often, but when they do, they're certainly something to respect, put it that way.